Well, if you're thinking of selling your home but you're not sure what the closing costs will be, real estate expert Monte Mohr is here to show you how you can save thousands. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for Jennifer. It's great to be here. Good to see you too.
Yeah, thank you. Well, closing costs can get a little bit complicated.
Yeah, very much so. You know, that's that unknown zone that we're going to try to simplify today.
Yeah, and we actually have a question from a viewer for you, and this is from Billy in Mount Juliet, and he says that we heard recently that it is customary as a seller to pay for all the buyer's closing costs in today's market. Is that true? My agent says I should price my home so that I have enough room to pay the buyer's costs. And do you agree with that, Monty?
Well, I don't necessarily. Now, in this last 6 months, half the homes that I've sold, the buyers did ask for their costs to be covered. But there's no point in building that number into your asking price and then maybe possibly overpricing your home for the market when not everybody wants those costs to be covered. So my suggestion is price it as competitively as you can, Jennifer. Then if somebody wants their costs covered and you don't have that margin, they can always build it in. If you've priced it right and they really want the house, they can build those costs in. In other words, if you're pricing it at $199 and they want $5,000 in costs, sell it for $204 and pay those costs.
There you go, because you could really use it as an incentive tool.
Exactly.
Kind of in the end if you wait, right?
Right, exactly.
So hold out. Okay. All right, our second question from a viewer is, I'm not sure if I can sell my home and get enough for it to cover what I owe. Is there a formula that I could use to determine what my gross sales price needs to be to make sure I'm covering my closing costs?
That's a good question in today's market because so many people don't have the equity they used to. The simplest thing to do, Jennifer, is determine what your payoff is. And that's different than your loan balance. Find out from the bank what is my payoff, then divide that number by 0.925. 0.925 will cover a 6% commission if that's what you're paying, and a 1.5% in closing costs, which is pretty typical scenario. It's not always that way, but pretty typical. Okay. So divide that net number by 0.925. You'll come up with a gross number that way of what you have to get the mortgage paid off.
Okay,
it's a
all
quick
right.
formula.
So there's a formula that can help you navigate that just a little bit. Because you want to know what to expect.
Yeah, well, you do. You need to know what the bottom line is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and another question from another great viewer. We are selling our home and are not sure what all the closing costs would be. Would you please give us the approximate cost for selling a $300,000 home?
Well, what I want to do here is show an example of what those costs would be if a typical costs are going to, again, be let's say a 6% broker's fee and 1.5% other costs. Your net from 300 would be 277.5. What I also though is like to share at this time what the difference would be if somebody hired me to sell their home and I sold it for free with my We Sell Homes for Free program. Subtract instead of 6%, 3%, and then that 1.5, and you see the net amount is 286. That's a $9,000 savings. Jennifer, that's a pretty big deal. That's my program, We Sell Homes for Free.
Yeah, that's great. I could furnish a really nice house for $9,000.
That's right. Big
All
savings.
right. We love to hear from happy customers as well. So let's talk about them. The first one we want to introduce you to is Cherry and Gerald, and they're from Franklin, and they said that you sold their home in 3 days and saved them $8,700. Wow.
They're Channel 4 viewers. They saw me and said, hey, you know, we hear you'll work for free for us. We just bought our home 2 years ago. We don't have any equity. I came in and sold the home in Fieldstone Farms in only 3 days, and they actually had a couple hours on it. They got full price for it.
Wow, that's a really good story. Okay, and this is from Karleen in Franklin, and she says her daughter is the one that told her about you, and she's so glad that she did. Your program saved her over $8,750. Wow, that's another great story.
Karleen was wanting to size down. She's wanting to find her. We just helped her buy her a condo. And she was shocked on how we got a full price offer on her house. Again, it makes such a difference when people take advantage of this We Sell Homes for Free program because they can price their home more competitively.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, let's hear from Ophelia from Henderson. She says, I just used Monte for the second time, and this time she saved over $7,900. That's impressive.
Ophelia used me 3 years ago. And decided to size down again. And again, she said, well, I can't go with anybody else when you're willing to work hard for me for free.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, it's nice to hear from those happy customers.
Yes,
thanks for the tips you brought to people
well,
today. They can sit down with a calculator and do a little figuring.
It makes a difference when the mystery's solved. It makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Thanks for making it easy for them. Well, if you need help buying or selling your home, you can call the Mohr Group at 615-376-4500, or you can reach Monte directly by calling him at 615-300-8393. We also have a link to the website WeSellHomesForFree.com on the More at Midday section of WSMV.com.